I've walked through the store probably 1,000 times at this point with wet boots, and every single time I think to myself, man, I should really buy a wet boot mat. And every single time I take my boots to the bathroom to let them dry in the shower, and I forget to buy a wet boot mat. And I will probably do that again tonight and tomorrow and possibly for the rest of my life. We're in the home stretch of the year, which means it's time to reflect and think about all the things that went well this year, and all the things that went horribly wrong, and were embarrassing, and that we wish never happened. But whether your year was filled with more bad than good, or good than bad, in the past 365-ish days, we've all learned something. So I sat down to think about what the past year of my life has taught me, and I picked out the 3 most important things that I want to leave behind in 2025, and the 3 most important things that I want to bring with me into 2026. And the first thing I'm leaving is being overexposed to opinions. This is a fancy way of saying I'm leaving excessive scrolling behind. Is this revolutionary? No. But here's why I'm choosing to make a point of it now. I've always mostly felt that the time I've spent on social media has done more good than harm. I would discover new recipes, crafts, life hacks. It's even the reason I finally asked my doctor about anxiety medication. But this year, I think the scales tipped. And more often than not, I found myself feeling anxious, angry, demotivated, or a combo of all 3 after just a few minutes of scrolling. I've always thought of myself as like a fundamentally good person. Like perfect? No, of course not. But, you know, just like has a general sense of caring for others, has a basic sense of empathy. Yes, but I found when scrolling, especially on TikTok, afterwards, I would be left questioning myself, thinking like, am I a bad person for shopping at this store? Am I morally corrupt for sharing this on my story? Or am I morally corrupt for not sharing this on my story? Am I heartless because I ate this, watched this, listened to this, liked this? I wasn't just questioning my sense of right and wrong, I was questioning my sense of self. It was like my entire view on the world was becoming dictated by these omnipresent internet morality police, to the point where it felt like everything I did or anyone else did or said or liked was just wrong. Okay, well I definitely took the pan out of the oven wrong, because I don't think that that's supposed to happen. It's not my first kitchen battle wound. And it won't be my last. My brain was starting to feel like a jumbled mess, because I don't think humans are meant to take in this many opinions. See, there's a balance between expanding our worldview by considering others' opinions and taking in what I can only describe as incessant noise. And mine was grossly off. I needed to be looking to myself, my core values, and those I trust to determine who I was as a person and what I viewed as right and wrong, which meant I needed a timeout from TikTok until things felt more clear. So I've spent the past few months trying to turn to books or crafts or just like scrolling on Pinterest for new recipes, because that's like adding value to my life and my taste buds. Or sometimes I've even just tried to sit and stare off into space instead of reaching for my phone to look at TikTok or Reels. Hi, Goose. Does the soup smell good? You can lick the bowl when I'm done, buddy. Anyways, I've noticed that the less I mindlessly scroll, the less agitated I've become. And it seems like my rational brain has once again taken over my opinions and my moral compass rather than an algorithm. That said, there are still some algorithms that I trust to serve me useful content, and one of those is Skillshares, who is sponsoring this portion of today's video. I recently took their class, Capturing Your Year, Make a Time Capsule for Reflection and Growth, and it gave me a lot of inspiration for how I approach my year-end reflection process. It walked me through several different exercises for reflecting on the ups and downs of the past year of my life and how they could help me shape my year ahead. It ended with combining it all into a little time capsule, which I have stored in my journal for when I want to revisit the lessons of 2025. Now, if you've never heard of Skillshare, it's the largest online learning community for creatives. Not only do they have lighthearted, low-stakes classes like this, but they also have thousands of other other classes, all led by industry experts on topics ranging from photography to filmmaking to productivity to graphic design and much more. However you're looking to expand your mind this winter, they probably have a class for it, making it a great gift for yourself or a loved one this holiday season. The first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so check it out and maybe grab a few gift cards while you're there. Now, going along with leaving behind mindless scrolling, I am planning to bring being bored into 2026. Sometimes we need to be bored, except we rarely ever are, because of these things. When we're bored, our brains start to use their default mode networks, essentially the part of our brain that activates when we don't have anything else to think about. And we don't like it. The default mode network allows our mind to wander, often to uncomfortable subjects like the meaning of life and other existential questions that we like to avoid. So we fill the space, again, mostly with these guys. But similar to how our muscles need rest days to grow stronger, our minds also need rest periods to process the world around us and come up with new ideas. Research has actually found that those who were asked to do mundane, boredom-inducing tasks were more creative afterward, indicating that boredom encourages our brains to seek out novel and different ideas. Essentially, another way of saying, it makes us more creative. So I've tried to make a point of going on walks without my headphones in, eating a meal without the TV on, waiting for the train without a screen in my hand, and it's something I also plan to prioritize in the new year. My hope is that not only will it spark creativity, but also give my mind some time to breathe. And research also indicates that if you can master boredom, you're more likely to become less bored with the ordinary things in your life, like your job or your friendships or relatively mundane tasks like returning your library books. The next thing I'm planning to leave behind is a need for certainty. Therapy has taught me that I apparently have a real problem with the unknown and trying to predict the future. It came to the forefront of my life about 3 years ago. At that point, I'd accomplished the steps that were laid out for me. I graduated, found an apartment, made friends, found a partner. I was kind of all out of predetermined steps. It was time to make life decisions without a blueprint. Which for me, I guess, meant ruminating over all the possible outcomes of every decision I'd make. From big things like deciding if and when to move, to little things like picking a book to read. My therapist recommended I start making decisions based on what feels right and rational in the moment, even if the outcome is unknown. For example, quitting my job to sit on my couch all day might feel right for my sanity, but financially, it's not rational. But if I quit for a new job I was really passionate about that paid less but still covered my bills, that could be considered right and rational, despite coming with many uncertainties. The point is, if I waited for certainty to make all my decisions, I'd spend all my time in one place, never getting anywhere new. Because in reality, the only thing that's certain is that if you let the fear of uncertainty control your life, you'll miss out on what makes it worth living. Oh, and also death and taxes. Those are certain too. We are back! And it is totally and completely the same day and not a different day made to look like the same day for continuity purposes, because now that I film more cinematically, it takes me forever to get my shots, and also it's Chicago in the wintertime, so I only have like 6, maybe 4 hours of daylight if it's cloudy to film my videos, and that's just simply not enough time to film my videos. Hi, buddy. I got 2 books at the library. This one is called She Didn't See It Coming. It's by Shari Lapina. I actually have no idea if that's how you pronounce her name. I probably butchered it. But she wrote The Couple Next Door. I feel like a lot of people have read The Couple Next Door. Also, it says it on the front of the book, which usually means a lot of people have read it. Anyways, I like her books, so I got another one. This one is about a woman who goes missing. That's pretty much it. It takes place in like a condo building, so it kind of reminded me of like Only Murders in the Building, that sort of vibe. I'm guessing there's not a podcast situation with Martin Short and Steve Martin in this one, but you know, I think it'll still be enjoyable. And then I got this one, She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica. I've read 3 of her books now, and I've really liked 2 and not really liked 1. So it's like a 66% hit rate, so we'll see how I feel about this one. It's about this woman who works in a hospital. She's a single mom. This girl comes into the hospital, her brain is injured. She jumped from a bridge, but like, did she jump for the bridge or was she pushed? That seems to be the question. And like, who pushed her? And then like, is anyone else gonna get hurt? And so that's the thing that's happening here. And then Also, while we were at the library, there was like this very specific shot that I wanted to get in this room that has like a really big window, but I couldn't get that shot. So sorry guys. But the reason I couldn't get that shot was because there was a maker's market happening in that room. So it was like a bunch of small businesses came together to sell their stuff. And I was like, this is arguably better than getting the shot. So David and I walked around there a little bit, and I got this ring. Isn't it pretty? And then I also got this, I already put this part up on my wall, or this thing, not this part, this item. Oh wait, now it's really dark over here. I got this little mosaic. So it's like little baby tomatoes, and it's in a frame. You can see it. I don't know why I'm verbally describing it to you. Look how cute. And then David also got a mosaic from the mosaic lady for his parents for Christmas. So I think we really made the mosaics lady's day. So anyways, we walked around that a little bit more, and then I was like, David, we have to leave because if we don't, I'm gonna buy all of these. Oh my God, it's really sunny, sorry. I'm gonna buy the inventory of all these small business owners, and while they deserve that, I simply can't afford it, so we have to go. So then we left, and then we came back, and then it was dark, and I was kind of tired from filming everything, so that's why it's a different day, but it's the same day. All right, so that's all on that, and now let's go to a new day. Or is it a new day? Nobody knows. I know, it is a new day. It's actually gonna be a new day. Good morning. We're on to a new day, and we're gonna talk about the next thing that I'm bringing into 2026, which is time block scheduling, I guess is what I'm gonna call it. It's not a novel idea. I'm not the first person to come up with this, and it's honestly pretty logistical and mundane, but I do not think that my life would look the same without it, which is why I'm making a point to bring it into 2026. For pretty much my whole life, it seemed like about every 3 to 4 months, I completely change how I wanna organize myself. I've cycled through Notion, planners, to-do lists, elaborate Google Calendar setups. And after a few months, I have abandoned each of them, and then I cycle back through them again, hoping that on the 2nd or 3rd or 50th time, one of them will stick. But none of them ever did until I came up with this. And this looks like I'm about to sell you something. I am not, I promise. I just want to show you what works for me so that maybe it could also work for you, okay? So over time, I've discovered that I think I operate the best with a handwritten list. So you'd think, oh, Morgan, you love a planner. False. Because the planners I could find out in the wild were never curated for my specific weird brain habits. I didn't need a calendar. I didn't need the dates. I didn't need the whole week on one page with no actual room to write down what I needed to do each day. I just needed one page where I could write down the times of the day and write down what I needed to do, and a little checkbox on the side where I could check it off and feel satisfied. And then I also need somewhere in that same planner where I can write down what I need to get finished the next day so that I don't forget it in my slumber and then wake up the next morning and be like, oh, I have no idea what I need to do today. That's a great place to start. So I said, you know what? It's 2025. We have the technology to erase the entire human species, which means we have the technology for me to make my own planner. So I made my own planner. Again, I'm not selling it to you because you literally cannot buy it. I just made this myself in Canva. I made a worksheet with what I wanted, and then I copied and pasted it like 50 times, and then I had it bound, because that's a thing you can do in Canva, I discovered. And then I gave my money to Canva, and they gave me my bound planner in return. And so now I have exactly what I want. Undated, because some days I will forget to use it. Satisfying check boxes, a separate list for random things that I remember throughout the day. And then I also have a place down here to record my outfit, because I track my clothes, because I want to figure out how much I like wear each thing in my closet. It's a very specific thing to me. You don't have to use this. And then on the next page, I have a space to write the things I need to remember for the next day, and a place to write about something I was grateful for that day. And that's it. Boom. That's all Morgan needs to stay organized. Mostly, I think. Anyways, again, you can't buy this. I'm not selling it to you if you didn't hear me the first 2 times. However, I think there's a way for me to make this Canva thing into a template, and then you can access that template if you just click. So I'm going to put a link. There's going to be a link in the description of this template. You can change these if you want to customize it to make it your own, and then you can print one out if you just want to try it out, see if it works for you. If it does, then you can also copy and paste it 50 times and pay Canva money, and they will send your own planner to you. This is also not a sponsorship for Canva. I just love this. This has changed my life. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you about it. I just want to do a little show and tell. And it just, anytime you show and tell something, people are always like, did you get paid to do this? And it's like, sometimes no. Sometimes I just want to do a good old-fashioned show and tell. Sue me. Don't sue me. I don't have the money for that right now. We are now switching from time blocks to timelines, because the third thing that I'm leaving in 2025 is societal timelines. Allow me to illustrate. I am 30 years old. I have 0 kids, unless you count my 5-year-old golden retriever as a child. I have been dating the same wonderful man for the past 6 years, and we live together in our rented apartment. And I work part-time in corporate America, where I have sacrificed the option to be promoted in order to be able to work the other half of my time pursuing my dream of being popular on the internet. Then we have my friend. Let's call her Carla. Like me, Carla is 30 years old. She has 3 adorable children. She lives in a home that she owns with her husband, and career-wise, she was working in nonprofits before transitioning to become a stay-at-home mom. And then my other friend, let's call her Abigail. She is 29 years old. Like me, she has 0 children, but 1 very cute cat. She is single and lives on her own in her rented apartment, and she travels the world for her job, which has the word director in the title. Do you see how all 3 of these people are roughly the same age, and yet everything from their career to their jobs to where they live to their relationship status, they're all completely different, and yet they are all exactly where they're supposed to be. Because there are no timelines anymore, and mentally teeing up certain milestones to occur at certain ages often just sets us up for disappointment. What 20-year-old you may want for your 30-year-old self could be completely different than what you actually end up wanting when you're 30 years old. And that's not to say you shouldn't have goals or think about your future, but base your goals on what you really want, not a societal timeline, and give yourself grace if those goals change as time goes on. I turned 30 in 2025, and there were a lot of things I thought I would have accomplished by that age, namely getting married and owning a house. But when I turned that fateful age without either of those things, I didn't care. In reality, I'm in no rush to take on the stress of planning a wedding. And from the comfort of my cozy, well-located 2-bedroom apartment with in-unit laundry, the responsibility of being a homeowner doesn't really sound that enticing. So you can change your career when you're 35, you can have a kid at 40, you can learn a new art form at 50. All that matters is that you work toward doing what you want to do when you want to do it. And if you don't get there by the age you had in mind, it doesn't mean you failed. It just means it wasn't meant for you yet. So no longer will I let myself feel behind just because my life looks different than I thought it would at a certain age. Goosicle the musical. Do you want to see my painting, bud? Do you like it? He sniffed it, so I think he likes it. I think it turned out really well. This is what I was copying for reference. This is what we ended up with. If you have any interest in these watercolor workbooks, here, this is what the front of it looks like. It's from Emily Leck's studio. I'll link it in the description. No pressure to buy it. It's like, if you're like, I want a watercolor too, then I'm gonna give you the information so that you can do that. I like these because they give you like a little outline of what you're trying to copy. And then the goal is hopefully one day I can just watercolor something freehand from my own mind instead of copying something. You know, like how I'm making life decisions without a blueprint, I will be able to watercolor without a blueprint. Do you see what I did there? Do you see how I kind of brought it back? I didn't even plan it. Sometimes I plan it, not gonna lie, but this time I didn't plan it. Just a natural brain thought, that one. I'm actually realizing now as I'm looking for a puzzle that the whole painting based on an example thing could have really segued nicely into my next point, but it's too late because I already used it to call back, but it probably would have been better. It would have been better. It would have been less choppy, because see how this is happening now? It's choppy. Anyways, I already had the analogy of a puzzle planned for this next one, so I'm looking for a puzzle. This is where I keep my puzzles. Oh. I love my bed so much. I got this new quilt and this bolster pillow. Is that what they call it? A lumbar pillow. I got these on a Black Friday sale from Lulu in Georgia because I've been wanting like a quilt to go over our bed because it felt very plain, and the blanket we had was white, and whenever Goose would jump on it, like it would get dirty really fast. So I wanted something darker and in a pattern, and then just like a little pillow to bring some more whimsy in here. Anyways, I'm really happy about it. Honestly, I prefer to just stand and look at my bed than to sit in it to be quite honest right now. I'll link these in the description if you're curious about them. Again, no pressure to buy. There's never any pressure to buy. I just want that to be so clear. I hope you're actually feeling pressured to not buy. But if you're like, wow, that looks like something that I've been wanting for my home for a while, I would like to know where you got it, then again, I just want to provide that information to you. These sconces are also new, but I highly recommend not purchasing them. It was the most upsetting thing that I've ever put together in my whole life. And I've built a lot of IKEA furniture. And I've put up sconces before. This was not a normal process for sconces. They're pretty, but they've caused trauma. Okay, so the third and arguably most important thing that I'm bringing into 2026 is constructing my life, not copying it. You look super crooked. Are you crooked? That seems slightly better. I was watching a video by this other YouTuber, Carrie Cakes, and she quoted this book in it. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. Okay, I'm gonna paraphrase it a little bit because she kind of broke up the quote so it becomes really long. Anyways, she was reading this book and in it says she finds herself with an already formed idea of a person. And basically it's saying if you're just striving to copy that person or that aesthetic, then you are missing out on the great effort. I said that wrong. One second. I can read. If you're striving to copy that person, then you will miss the great effort of construction that is living. And I started to think about how much of my life I've based off an example, that I based off of a fully formed person. Although one could argue that no one's ever fully formed, but that's not the point. Anyways, it's not uncommon, right? You look up to people, you want to emulate them, you want to emulate their life, so you try to take the steps that they took or do the things that they do. And I think sometimes it's easy to fall too deeply into that and kind of lose yourself. Very similar to what I was saying earlier about all of our steps being laid out in front of us in life, and we just kind of take them because we're supposed to, not necessarily because it's what we want. You know, if you're too focused on becoming a certain type of person, you may find yourself doing the same thing and not actually thinking about who you are. And I think that's where this idea of constructing your own life really comes into play. It's sort of like building the puzzle while looking at the box versus building it without. Get out of here. It's fine to build a puzzle while looking at the box. It's a guide, it helps things move quicker, and it feels satisfying when it's finally put together. But when you build it without, there's more challenge, and of course more frustration, but at the end, not only is it satisfying because it's done, but also because you conquered a challenge with just you and your brain. Along the way, you weren't spending half of your time looking at the fully formed picture. Instead, you were entirely immersed in the process of putting the pieces together. You were forced to think more, to try and fail more often. So when you finally got something to click, it felt much more momentous. And that's where the joy is. It isn't necessarily in the picture-perfect end product. It's in, as they say, the journey. The journey of trying something and failing. The journey of finally doing the thing you've been avoiding. The journey of picking a path or a book, not knowing where it'll lead. The rewarding, frustrating, mystifying journey of constructing you. Taking anxiety medication. I avoided it for 29 years and now my life has changed. Eating pumpkin in seasons that aren't fall. I want to make a pumpkin chili in March. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Playing pickleball, but not too seriously. The game Past the Pigs. Chemical face peels. They're so freaking expensive, but they're so freaking worth it. Look at my face. Do you see any acne? Yeah, you probably do, because there's still some there, because I lay my head on my dog's butt. Watercolor painting. Corded headphones. Because I got like 12 things that need to charge every day. My headphones are never charged when I need them to be charged. So just give me the cord. Sunscreen on my hand. Being overly enthusiastic about a nice sunset. The dark chocolate skinny dip peanut butter cups at Costco. A fingerless glove. They'll really change my ability to get things out of my pockets in the cold. Humidifiers. My love for the color sage green. I hear it's the new millennial pink or beige or whatever, but I don't care. I liked it before it was given a label and I'll like it after. My fear of driving. I just don't really have a desire to improve on that right now. Knitting. I'm sorry, I tried it, I really did, but I have to tap out. Flat pillows. Promotional emails. Dude, I'm going through and I'm unsubscribing from as many freaking newsletters as I can. If Google tells me I'm gonna run out of storage one more time, I'm gonna freaking lose it. Any mention of Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I just don't care about them. I can't listen to it anymore. Get them off my feed. Not using a coaster. Losing my nail clippers. Feeling insecure about my teeth. Under-seasoned food. Buying books. I just found out I can go online and have books from other library branches sent to my library's branch, so I pretty much have no excuse to buy a book now. Being a little bitch. I don't really think I am one, but if there's any of that energy hiding, I would like to leave it here.